Hello, and welcome to another edition of Marlborough Cares. Today, my guest is Anastasia Dilling from the Shining Stars Committee. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about the Shining Stars and how it started, and it's something that's near and dear to me. Welcome, Anastasia.
Hi.
Okay, why don't you talk a little bit, well, first of all, talk about what the Shining Stars represents.
The Shining Stars is an organization that was started by two parents, Robin and Clayton Temple, 4 years ago, and they try to raise money for children diagnosed with autism in the Marlborough public school system.
Okay, tell us, why don't you tell us a little bit about what autism is for those who don't know?
Autism is a developmental disorder and that's neurologically based. It's considered to be a spectrum disorder, so it can range from very severely challenged children to very high functioning children, as in the case of Asperger's syndrome.
Okay, and Asperger's is the higher
functioning, that's right.
Okay, and like you said, Shining Stars was started by some parents, just trying to find ways to assist parents with respite and things that the kids don't normally get.
That's right. It gives them opportunities. They help support a sports camp for the children throughout the course of the year, and then a week's sports camp in the summertime. And it gives these children who wouldn't ordinarily be able to participate in a typical situation, say youth baseball or soccer, but they give them an opportunity to learn about sports, work cooperatively with each other. They do a lot of sensory activities as well, and to learn some good social skills in a competitive environment.
That's wonderful. So basically, the money raised is going directly to the children with autism to provide. Basically, a lot of it's just respite for the parents throughout the year.
Yes, it's also the money's also been used to fund after-school programming for the children, for a social skills group or a social club, where they're given an extra opportunity to practice some of those social skills that are really difficult for children diagnosed with autism to negotiate.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important for people to know that. So that's a huge part
of autism?
Yeah, it's a social aspect.
You know, a lot of people will say, well, gee, I wouldn't recognize that child as being autistic. And I always say the face of autism looks so differently from child to child, but there are certain key characteristics that they all share to one degree or another. So typically some of those characteristics would be a marked delay in language development, or even the absence of language in more severe cases. Others would be an inability to make an emotional connection with another adult or another child, perseverative play or stereotypic behavior, an inability to negotiate their way through social situations, an inability to maintain eye contact. There's so many different characteristics, and as I said, to one degree or another, these children share those.
And you know, for somebody who's not dealing with it, people don't realize just how precious certain things are, like eye contact. You know, you wouldn't think that would be a problem, but that's very difficult for some of our children, and these activities allow them to practice this outside of a school setting.
Right, in a more natural setting, they allow them to practice these skills that we take for granted that a typical child will learn just by maturing. Our children have to be taught and retaught to learn the skill, to acquire it, and then to maintain it. And you can't take anything for granted with these kids. You can't just assume that as they mature that they're going to gain the skills they need to be age appropriate. A lot of the most basic of skills have to be taught, and so when the child is able to do these things, it's such a gift and it's such a blessing to experience that with them. But they need that opportunity to practice it so they can generalize that skill and then say, take it somewhere, take it maybe to the youth baseball and a more typical environment.
And I can imagine just with the learning sports skills is very difficult. And I know the people that work at the sports camp are wonderful, and they take the time to do it repetitively, because that's what we have to do, is do things over and over again for these children to pick up the skill. But once they have it, you know, it's a wonderful feeling.
It is. It's a lot of the teachers that do the work in the school system work the camp, so they're very familiar with the children and their particular issues, which is really important. They can help these children negotiate their way through a tough situation, just maybe handling disappointment if they're not the ones to win, or waiting for their turn, or cheering on a friend of theirs and supporting them as well. So all these skills that we might take for granted, they're learning in a small, safe, but structured environment, and then they can take them with them and use them in a more typical setting.
And I think it's also important to note that the parents feel safe leaving their children there, because especially with a child that does not have language, that's huge.
That is really huge.
To leave your child with somebody you trust, which is great that a lot of the teachers that work with them in the schools also work in the sports camps.
Right. There are unfortunately so many children who just don't ramp up with their language. They don't acquire language, and so they're not able to communicate and keep themselves safe if something should happen to them. And so as a parent, I can imagine to have a trusted adult with them who knows their child and their behavior and the interventions that are set forth for that child is really key, and it gives parents peace of mind.
Yeah, and as many people know, I do have an autistic child, Xavier, he's 12, and that was literally a godsend. It came at a time when he was going through he was having some challenges with his language and behaviors, and I was able to send him to sports camp on a Saturday, so I can actually go do some Christmas shopping without having him right there with me, and just you know, because it's a lot of work taking them to the store sometimes when they're young, to get them to have good behavior in the store.
And the difference is, you know, like you said, it's a Saturday, it's a more relaxed environment, and they are learning good skills, but in a fun way, and they can have fun, and that's really important to them, for them too, as well, because during the week, I always say, most kids pack their backpacks and their lunch boxes, but for them, it's like their valise. They're going off to work. They are really working hard all day to acquire the most basic of skills.
Yeah, so you know, that's a wonderful thing for, you know, to have, is that respite, which is actually what is respite for the parents, and also who they take the time to, when that child's out of the house, you know, in a safe environment, you have time for your other children as well. You know, who sometimes, you know, when you have your attention focused on, you know, that one child for whatever reason, if they're just having a rough week, and a lot of your attention has gone to that, to deal with those.
A diagnosis of autism for families is definitely a journey for the entire family, and it can take its toll. And other children, if you know, this isn't your firstborn, if it's your, you know, second or third child, a lot of energy has to be put into getting this child up to speed, and so it becomes really difficult for some of the other children or members in your family, and it can become a real hardship.
Yeah, I know. My oldest son can tell you some stories of having to, you know, deal with an autistic brother, but he used to handle it very well. And also, you know, it's important to note that we also, at the sports camp, there are typical children there to model typical behavior as well.
It's very important.
So that's what we, you know, that is part of the program for the sports camp. But why don't we talk a little bit about what we have coming up in Shining Stars, some of the events, because we're raising money.
Yes, we are. Well, what's coming next is the annual walk. It'll be the 4th annual walk, and it's on Sunday, September 10th. Check-in time is at 11, and the walk starts at noon. It's what I like to call a token walk, so that all the children can participate and the families can participate. But there'll be a raffle with many items that the local business people here have been so generous in donating for our raffle items. And there's going to be music and food, and really it'll be just a gathering of beautiful children and beautiful people who have shared in this journey, and then they can really just connect and share stories with each other, but then the money raised will go directly towards the children.
And there'll be food there, and we'll have a DJ, right?
Live entertainment.
Live entertainment. No, we're stepping up. We
are.
We're going to have live entertainment this time, and I know The raffle's always fun.
The raffle's always fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good items, and I'm telling you, local business people have been so generous, and
Yeah.
I think they hear me calling or see me coming now and they shy away. But it's been wonderful, and I know we're working really hard to get a lot of people to be aware. I mean, even if you're just in the area, stop in, see, come be with us, do the walk, spend some time with us. It's such a worthwhile cause.
Yeah, and the kids have a great time too. And
The kids have a great time.
Yeah, and there's activities there.
Just an occasional meltdown here.
Yeah, that's all. Just wanted to, but it doesn't bother anybody there.
No, and it doesn't
thing.
because everybody understands.
Yeah,
everybody understands.
Nobody's bothered by it. It's going to be at the parking lot here at the New Moon Saloon.
Yes, it starts at
The
the New Moon
Victoria Building. The parking lot is where it's going to start, and it's going to go up. And I think it's just a couple blocks, and we come back. It's
And that's
not a
it.
real long
It's
walk.
not- it's your
but-
token walk,
yeah.
but it has great meaning. It
Yeah,
really does.
It really does. It's wonderful. What else? We have other things coming
We
up.
have another yard sale. This year's yard sale was so successful.
Oh, it really was. Thank everybody who came out because
It was great.
We
It was
made a
great.
good amount of money, which is wonderful.
We
and that-
did. And we had a great location. We were at the Naven skating rink, and I guess we're fortunate enough to have
Yeah,
that
they've been
location
great
again.
too.
Big
Everybody's
thanks.
been wonderful.
Yeah, big thanks to
Yeah.
them. So we'll be there, I think October 14th is the day, and then the 15th is the rain date. So come see us.
And we have when's the
If you have
concert?
donations too,
Oh,
we'll be
yes.
happy to take donations. You
What's the
can,
number to call for donations?
508-481-7424.
So 508. Say it again.
508-481-7424.
And we'll put that up afterwards as well. If anybody has a donation, they can call 508-485-9433. That is Robin Temple. She will be happy to tell you what you can do.
We'll take your stuff.
Yeah, we'll take everything. Yeah, we'll take anything. We'll take. You want to donate a basket? You want to donate a gift certificate? Just give us a call. We'll raffle it off. And it's for a great cause.
Yep. And even items for the yard sale as well. If you're going through your children's playroom and they're done with those toys, consider us as a possible
Absolutely.
place to donate them to. And then I think in November, November 18th
Yeah.
is the
Concert.
concert. I think it's at the Hudson Rod and Gun.
Yeah.
Is that right?
What is
Yeah.
the? Do you know who's playing?
Not one clue.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. I know. So it's a concert, and it's to benefit the Shining Stars. And we'll put up who it is afterwards. We'll have it up after the show. So with the numbers and everything else. So anything else you want to say about the Shining Stars?
I just think, I've been on a beautiful journey with my son. My youngest son was diagnosed with autism as well, and it's been a beautiful journey. He's brought me I always say he's the gift that keeps on giving because he's brought me to a lot of great places. I'm working as a therapist at the Early Childhood Center, and I feel so fortunate to be working with these beautiful children and these beautiful families, and I'm really honored to be part of their journey, even just for a small amount of time. But now, getting on the other side, getting to be more involved with the Shining Stars, I'm meeting wonderful parents and people, and even just relatives of that have somebody who's diagnosed with autism, who are just donating their time and their energies, and it feels like another gift. It's a gift to myself just to be there and be a part of it.
And people who work with our children are wonderful. They care about those
They really
kids.
do.
The Andy Burnaby, who was probably Xavier's, no, he wasn't Xavier's teacher, but he worked right next door to Xavier, because they had little cubbies, so he worked right next door to Xavier, and that Xavier's 12, so that had to be like 7 years ago. No, 6 years ago. Okay, but he runs the marathon and raises money for the Shining Stars.
He's fabulous.
The teachers and therapists are wonderful.
They are wonderful people. You really have to have a calling one way or another. I don't know what brings,
Yeah,
everybody's
you're right.
calling is different. Mine is from my own personal experience. I just felt that it was the next leg of the journey for me. But some of these people are they bring so much warmth and love to these children. It really is a beautiful thing.
They really are wonderful. The school system has been great putting the ABA program together. I mean, it's a wonderful program. And just, when a parent gets a diagnosis of autism, we're a little neurotic, shall we say.
It's a tough thing to wrap your arms around, because I think as a parent you feel like every door of opportunity is
That's
just
close,
closed
yeah.
for your child.
And this teachers
and you
have to
can't
deal with
imagine,
that.
right? And you just can't imagine, well, what will it look like, or how far will they progress out of this, or will they progress out of it? And I think you just feel really, you feel that the outcome might be bleak. You just don't know. But one thing I latched onto that my son's pediatrician said, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And it always kept me motivated. Okay, this is where we are today. Tomorrow's going to look a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I know when Xavier was diagnosed, I think I walked around in a daze for about a month. And now the kid has a great personality. I mean, he's a wonderful kid.
Yeah.
He really is. And when I got that diagnosis, I don't think I saw that
Yeah.
far ahead. You know, I didn't see that he's going to be 12, he's going to have words, he's going to, you know, be reading. I mean, it's just a huge, when I look back on when I was told and what I have now, and it's just going to keep getting better because he's going to continue to learn. So
Right.
but the teachers have to, deal with, parents who have just been told some
I
news
think that's
that is
really difficult,
devastating.
especially at the early, especially when they're just
Yes.
just being transitioned from early intervention into the early childhood center. It's the parents. It's really raw for the parents at that point. They've just received their diagnosis. They've been living with their autistic child, but now they have a name to it, and there's some stigma. I think that parents have to get past, and I think it's that. Not knowing how far will they come.
Yeah.
Right.
Where can they go?
Where
But you're
can
right.
they
That is a
go?
wonderful saying. Your doctor
not
told
where
you
you
to start. It's
it's
where you finish. Absolutely.
It really was a mantra for me.
Yeah.
And I always like to tell parents, on the darkest days, on the most quiet days, on the bleakest of days, when I felt very challenged, and my comfort level was challenged, I used to think, well, if I feel this way, it's got to be that much tougher for him. And it helped me get outside of what I was feeling and back into the advocate seat for my child. Okay, this is what I
Yes.
need to do. And that's a very hard role to learn for parents, is to
Yeah.
learn how to advocate.
And that's exactly what we do, is advocate for our children, just for the services and everything.
There's so much you have to learn quickly, and it's, like you said, you're dazed and confused for a while. And
Yeah, I can remember that. About a month. It took probably about a month to get to shake out of it, but then.
But you learn a lot. You meet a lot of good people.
Yes, I did. I met a lot of people who have been, who we've stayed together and we lean on each other for support.
That helps.
Yep. Well, Anastasia, thank you very much.
Thanks
coming
for
to the
having
show.
us.
And this has been another edition of Marlborough Cares.